So I saw this news report a while back that kind of struck a little bit of a nerve in me. And even though this might not be a thing in the media anymore, it made me think of the core differences between liberalism and conservatism, and also why conservatism is losing both in a political and a cultural sense. So let's talk about it. The other day, Unilever announced that they will no longer be using the word normal in their beauty products descriptions. According to Sunny Jain, president of Unilever's Beauty and Personal Care division, this is an important step towards creating a more inclusive definition of beauty. Unilever is one of the biggest multinational consumer good companies out there. You might not know the name Unilever itself, but you'll definitely know a few of the 400 companies they have under their umbrella. So what's the problem with them removing the word normal from their beauty products? Well, a lot, and on a deeper level than you might think. Hear me out. Saying something is normal, or saying there's such a thing as a norm, is seen by the progressives as something inherently bad. They say it excludes people who do not adhere to the norm, because putting a norm in place quite literally sets a certain standard. This obviously doesn't have to be a qualitative or a substantial standard, of course, but just saying this is the norm, that means that there are going to be instances in which people will not be the norm. They will either fall under it or maybe even exceed it, which means there will be a little thing called inequality. And we all know that in the minds of modern people, nothing sounds worse than inequality. This is due to the fact that the left has basically brainwashed us into believing that inequality is an inherently unfair thing. That's because they believe that normative thinking is a result of oppressive social constructs, usually put in place by white men to keep minorities small and powerless. The problem here is that that's a completely skewed and dishonest representation of reality. And if you ask me, it even gets to the core differences between progressives and conservatives. Conservatives acknowledge the fact that we as people need norms, rules, and generalizations in order to function, if we want a civilized and working society, that is. Conservatives believe that rules exist not because of some sort of oppressive social construct, but because they acknowledge a certain reality. And through trial and error, they try to create order in society so that we as human beings can function. Let me make this really tactile and concrete for a second. Think about traffic. Reality is that we have cars and we have pedestrians. So we're already making a differentiation between those two. We know that cars are stronger and more dangerous, so to speak, than pedestrians. So we created rules in order to make one stop for the other at given moments in time, aka through traffic lights and different lanes in the streets to take. We also have the police to enforce these rules because if we don't stick to them, what do we get? Exactly, chaos. But back to a more abstract reflection. Let me take the differences between men and women. Conservatives will say, hey, you're a man, so you therefore generally have qualities A, B, C. And they'll say, hey, you're a woman, so you will therefore have qualities X, Y, Z. And the fact that both of you are different and that you have different qualities makes it pretty normal that you make different life choices. Progressives, however, will say the exact opposite. They will tell you that society says that you are different, but actually that it's all a social construct to create unequal positions of power, and that there is, in fact, no differences between men and women at all. So let's abolish all gender norms, roles, and characteristics, and everybody who does stick to them is an intolerant, bigoted sexist. Another lie from the left yet again. The fact that conservatives believe that there is such a thing as a norm obviously doesn't mean we're intolerant to the exception. Saying Europe's leading religion is and should be Christianity doesn't make you an Islamophobe. Saying men and women are and should be different doesn't mean you hate people who don't fully adhere to one or the other. And simply stating heterosexual relationships are the norm doesn't make you think homosexuality is bad. It just doesn't. A normative society isn't the problem. The opposite is. Trying to describe society without any norms, without any generalizations, Basically, a world without hierarchy, gender, and/or preferences. Try it. You can't. You'll just end up with a chaotic mush of nothingness. But so why do we conservatives keep losing the fight, both politically and culturally, if this is a really obvious thing to a lot of people? Let me give you some examples to why. First of all, we don't have language on our side. Modern day speech and vocabulary lends itself better to the left. And of course, we all know the left has successfully controlled the words that we may and may not use in the public debate for ages. And also, leftist talking points just kind of sound better in the ears of modern people. As we've established in the beginning of this video, words like equality, solidarity, and diversity, they sound modern, they sound honorable, and even exciting. The word progressive in and of itself has clearly a positive connotation. Conservative sounds old, outdated, and even backwards in the ears of some people. But the real question is, has progressivism brought us progress? Take a look at this. This is a building that was built in a time period that we call the Dark Ages. And we built that without electricity. Think about it. And then look at this building. This is something that we call modernity. And if you think about it, we have all the technology in the world and we're building this type of shit. How did we end up thinking this way? Well, because language is tied to culture, and the neoliberal right wing couldn't care less about culture. They'll always argue to leave it up to the market instead. But if you leave it up to the market in a society where people know nothing about where they're from and what their roots are, then you're going to leave it up to who? The left. And what do you get? Well, you get Netflix shows that glorify suicide, pedophilia, and anti-white sentiment. But at least you can watch it from a massive flat-screen TV with the highest resolution possible, right? All from the comfort of your own one-bedroom apartment, which more than half of your paycheck goes into every month. Because your 9-to-5 job gives you just enough money to pay for your expenses, own nothing, and to live happily alone. Congratulations, you are the perfect consumer. And are you feeling a little bit alone? Just go on Tinder. Did you get a date? Have some casual sex. Did you not get a date? Just watch some porn. Are you hungry? Order some foods from Uber Eats and have it delivered to your door by an undocumented migrant. Are you a bit bored? Watch a movie on Netflix. And the next day, you'll just do it all over again. But at least you're free, right? Yes, on the surface, liberalism looks and feels free and sexy because it gives you choices. But our lives are deeply regulated on every single level. And isn't it funny how most of our choices seem to benefit the woke capital every single time? And what about politicians? They can't go out and say, I want you to have less choices, even though it's obvious that liberalism is a trap and these are actually false choices. From something that might sound arbitrary, like removing the word normal from beauty products and banning plastic straws, we go to the government dictating when you're allowed to leave your own house, and what you can and cannot say on social media is regulated by big tech. Think about how many things in life are actually being decided for you without you having a say in it at all. I know for a fact that many people do feel this. They feel something is off. So many people feel lost right now. And maybe without being able to pinpoint it exactly, most people deep down feel like they're missing something. A sense of meaning and a sense of belonging. But many people don't even know how to put this in words, let alone actions, or they are afraid to, because the social consequences are real. The left is incredibly organized and has a global agenda. Conservatives, on the other hand, usually are fragmented and debate each other on the smallest nuances. And that's a good thing. That's how you get closer to the truth. But it can, therefore, also be hard to come out as a conservative because you'll often stand alone. And you might even lose friends, sometimes even family. Because other than conservatives, the left is, in fact, highly intolerant to the exception. I don't think I've ever met a conservative who said, oh, you're a terrible person for thinking differently than I do. Or, ooh, I really don't want to be your friend anymore because of your political opinions. It just doesn't happen. But God knows the other way around, it happens all the time. And trust me, I understand it's scary to go against the status quo, but you have to. Whilst the left have equality, solidarity, and diversity to offer, conservatism strives for the good, the true, and the beautiful. And honestly, conservatives have more fun. We won't cancel you for a joke that you made over 10 years ago. We are not afraid to speak our minds, and we like the finer things in life. We're already winning in our private lives, but now is the time to take it to a societal level. So, go against the status quo, create beauty, and emphasize the best parts of a conservative mindset. You have thousands of years of history on your side. Let them have their Netflix shows, gender-neutral toilet, and safe spaces, and let's win. Right, okay, that was the 4th episode of Let's Talk About It. I hope you liked my little rant today. Be sure to leave a comment and like this video if you did. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We'll see you next time, Wednesday around 7 p.m.